Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our virtual session tonight. We're just going to give everyone a second to get on into the Zoom room and we'll go ahead and get started. This is our virtual session on orientation in your first year experience. I want to be the first one to congratulate all of our students and our families that are joining us tonight. It'll be a really great session. We got some great speakers here. So we will go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Carly Signer. I'm an associate director here in the Office of Admissions. I will be your moderator tonight, but we are joined by two fabulous people. We have Butch, who is our director of new student and transition programs here at Syracuse. We also are joined by Benning, who is a current junior and orientation leader that's going to help you kind of just see, what is our orientation process like? What will your first year experience be like here at Syracuse? So I am going to turn it over to Butch very shortly, but first I do want to let you know that our Q&A will be open tonight for any questions that you have. Butch and Benning will go through a short presentation, but then we will open the floor to questions. My colleagues, Kate and Steph from the Office of Admissions, are going to be in the background answering your questions, marking some questions for live to ask at the end. So please go ahead and make use of that Q&A session. But Butch, without further ado, why don't you take it over?
All right. Hello, everybody. Congratulations on being a Syracuse student and being part of our Orange family. Now that you have committed to Syracuse University, you're in our hands now. I'm going to introduce ourselves and who we are as an office. But my name is Butch Hallmark. I'm the Director of New Student Transition Programs. I've been at Syracuse University since 2018. And Ben, who are you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben. I am a junior here at Syracuse. I'm studying public health with a concentration in healthcare management and a minor in social welfare. I'm originally from Hartford, Vermont, and I've been working with the New Student Programs Office since my first year at Syracuse as an orientation leader. I've been an orientation leader for 2 years, and then I've also worked as a student coordinator as well the past 2 years.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Just real quick before I get into our agenda, this is who our office is. So we are a very small office that is responsible for onboarding all of our new students and families to Syracuse University with our partners in Parent Family Services. We're here with you every step of the way. So there's me, the director, Nick Steins, our assistant director for new student orientation, and our administrative assistant, LS Jones. If you've called our office or if you emailed our office, you've likely spoken with LS. She is a great resource to get you connected to different resources on campus if you have any questions. You can always feel safe and secure starting with our office, and we'll get you where you need to go. Ben, who are the students that work with us?
So we have a lot of students that work within the New Student Programs office. And as all of you get to campus in August or maybe earlier, you'll be meeting all of us. We're very distinctively marked by our bright orange polos or bright orange t-shirts. So you won't miss us. But starting with orientation leaders, that's a position that students will have over the summer. And they'll be a part of new student orientation over the summer throughout the month of July. So those leaders, they host small groups in which students can connect with current students that are orientation leaders in a more one-on-one way. Then once you get here in August, it's time to move in. Our Goon Squad is who's responsible for all of that. So Goon Squad's made up of students in sophomore, junior, or senior years that are part of a registered student organization. And in order to be at the involvement fair, a registered student organization has to have some members of their Goon Squad participate in new student move-in. So throughout move-in, you get to meet a lot of different students in different registered student orgs, learn about their organization, and maybe get an idea of what you might want to get involved with once the year really starts. And then lastly, Welcome Week leaders. That's where you'll see me this August in a bright orange polo again. So Welcome Week leaders plan all of our Welcome Week events, and then they also run all of our Welcome Week events. So there's a lot that goes on, from Move In to Slices Right, which is a game show that we put on in the Dome. We'll get to more of that later. But we are some of the first faces you'll meet when you get onto campus, and a resource for you. We're all students, and we've been through exactly what you're embarking on in just a few months. So we're happy to help in any way we can.
Okay, so who we are, like I said, my office is New Student Programs. So we are here to help you transition to the university throughout your summer leading up to your first semester, and then throughout your time as a Syracuse University student. So transition happens at every step of the process. So going from high school or community college to Syracuse, and then throughout your first year to second year. So we kind of help you through those transitions, while also making sure that you feel welcome, and confident in starting your first semester at Syracuse University. So for our agenda tonight, I know I've already gone over a lot, but here's our agenda. So we're going to talk about what you can expect from our office this summer in terms of communication. We're going to go over what new student orientation is. There are some nuances with new student orientation this summer as far as who can attend new student orientation and who just needs to wait until August for their orientation. We'll also go over pre-welcome programs. So if you're interested in maybe moving in a little early, what some of those programs and offerings we have to get you to move in early and get connected with other students before everything really kicks off during Welcome Week. And then we go into Welcome Week and we talk about what is expected of you as a student, what's going to be offered for families and supporters during Welcome Week, and all the fun things that we have planned for, or that we're currently planning for you in your arrival. And then I'll also talk about what your first semester is going to look like as a new student, all the transition programming that our office puts on, but also what else you can expect from other offices on campus throughout your first semester. So new student communications. So if you've been admitted for a while and you've committed to the university for a while, you've already received one of these emails from me. It's our Becoming Orange newsletter. Um, Families and supporters that are on the call, we also archive these emails every single time we send one. So as soon as we hit the send button and it starts going out, we upload a link to the email onto our website, and you can review all that information too. So families, you can't sign up for this email, but we do post it so you can review it later. It's going to be sent weekly starting May 15th to every Syracuse University student's Syracuse email address. So for all the students that are on the call, you need to, a good rule of thumb right now, I would recommend start checking your email maybe once a week right now, unless you've got some emails going back and forth with staff at the university currently. But definitely you need to start checking your email once a day starting in May. That's when the information is going to start coming pretty quickly and pick up over the course of the summer, and it's going to be mostly stuff that you really need to know. Especially these emails coming from our office, because this will keep you on track with all of your required tasks, what to expect during orientation and welcome week and move in and all that kind of stuff. So it's very critical information. It's not stuff that you can ignore. Okay, so I'm going to jump into new student orientation. So like I said earlier, there are some nuances with our new student orientation program. In 2024, just for some context where we've been and where we're going, the chancellor of the university charged us with exploring different ways to onboard new students through an orientation program during the summer. So we did a pilot this past summer in 2024, and it was an overwhelming success. Students and families are both saying, I would definitely recommend new students go to this. It was very effective for me. Ben was one of the orientation leaders that was part of the pilot this past summer. So this year we're expanding the pilot to include different schools and colleges. So this past summer we included Arts and Sciences, Maxwell, School of Education, Architecture, and Volk. And this year we're expanding it to include a couple of other schools and colleges. The goal, depending on what this expanded pilot looks like this summer and what the results are from it, is going to be fully required for all new students in 2026. It won't apply to everybody on this call because you'll have already been a student for a year at that point, but moving forward, that's kind of where we're headed. So for 2025, these are the schools and colleges that are eligible to participate in this optional new student orientation program that happens in July. So the College of Arts and Sciences and Maxwell, Newhouse, Education, and Engineering and Computer Sciences. So there are some double majors due to their complex advising structure that we won't be able to accommodate you participating during orientation this summer. Um, all of the different groups that are eligible and are not eligible are listed on our website on an orientation webpage. But I will say that this is a very, very exciting opportunity. So if you are part of those schools and colleges that are eligible and you're able to make it to campus this summer in July for one of these sessions, please try to do that. It's completely free. For students that are eligible to attend, we put you in a residence hall. You'll have a roommate for the night. Families, you'll have to stay off campus, but we do have a full 2-day schedule for both students and families that can participate in this optional program. Students can bring up to 2 family members or supporters per student, and it's free, like I said. But the one thing I want everybody on the call to hear, and that we're telling people who call our office, who ask questions about it, is that students who don't attend, whether you are eligible and you just can't, or maybe you don't want to attend this summer, maybe you've got vacation or something like that, or maybe you can't do another trip to campus during the summer, only to come back a month later. You will not have any kind of housing disadvantage or advantage by coming or not coming, as well as the students who are not part of the schools and colleges that are participating. Every single person, no matter who comes this summer and in August, will still have all of their orientation requirements taken care of in August. The biggest benefit to attending this optional orientation this summer is just getting connected with other students before move-in. This is after these sessions start after your housing assignment is released to you, after you know who your roommate is, if you haven't participated in roommate matching. So it really is just an opportunity to meet new friends, get connected with campus, meet your advisors, and experience what a night is like overnight on a university camp at Syracuse University. A lot of you on the call will probably have some friends that might be going to other universities that are attending orientation during the summer, and it's going to be very similar to that. So we can also you can look at our website, and it has some schedule highlights for this orientation. We'll be releasing the full detailed schedule later on this summer, but registration is live now for those of you that are part of a program that is participating in the orientation. Yeah, like I said, you can see all that stuff on our website. If you go to our new student programs website and you just navigate to the orientation tab at the top, you'll see everything, including an FAQ on what the implications are if you do attend, what the implications are if you don't attend during this optional orientation in July. Okay, so now we're transitioning through July. We're looking at August now. So talking about pre-welcome programs. So these take place as early as August 15th. So that is the Friday before move-in starts, almost a week and a half before class starts. Some programs begin on August 15th. The WILD program begins on August 15th. The rest of them begin on August 18th, that Monday. So we have several different programs that you can attend. We have CUES First, that is for first generation college students. We have our Connections Pre-Welcome program, Christian Outreach, Fresh Fest, which is run out of Hendricks Chapel and Syracuse Hillel. Indigenous Student Welcome, our 2 LOOP programs. So that's our Leadership Outdoor Orientation program. One takes place in the Adirondacks. So you move in, you drop all your stuff off, and then you get on a bus with other students to the Adirondacks for a couple of days to do a leadership development type of program. and Loop Odyssey, which is basically the same program, but it happens on campus. We also have our Muslim Student Life Welcome and the Wilderness Intensive Leadership Development Program. So the WILD program, that last one, is very selective. They typically do an interview with that program because it is very, very outdoor intensive. So they want to make sure that if you are signing up for it, you know what you're getting yourself into. Um, and so they would organize a call with you if you do register for that program. Some of these are free. Some of these are free. Some of these do have a cost associated with them. If you look on our website, you can go to pre-welcome programs under Welcome Week, and you'll see all the different dates and the costs and what the benefits are for attending each session or each pre-welcome program. You can only attend one. So take a look at those. Every year this keeps growing in popularity. All of our programs keep growing. But you don't have to participate in this in order to make connections on campus and get plugged in to different resources and things like that. Okay, so required tasks. This is stuff that students can start working on now. Um, our full required tasks are updated. We're going to keep updating those with more details or more dates as the semester goes on. I know that they've recently released the tuition schedule for the Bursar and stuff within the last week or so. So things are still being announced. So keep checking the required tasks webpage and making sure that you're keeping up with that stuff. The first thing, obviously, is to set up your MySlice, set up and check your email. We're going to be sending those Becoming Orange newsletters that will remind you of those required tasks. Like, hey, in the next couple of weeks, this is going to be due. This is how you set it up. This is how you turn it in, and who to contact if you have any questions about that. We're also going to, in the Becoming Orange newsletters, we also connect you with different resources on campus to help prepare you for that. Whether it's Spartan Center at the Arch, how to set up your health portal, all that kind of stuff. So we do take care of a lot of that orientation or onboarding stuff throughout the summer during those Becoming Orange newsletters, but you can also just do that at your own pace on our required task webpage. Then in May, between May and June, you'll be receiving an email from your school or college that will include a survey. That survey is going to be a link. It's going to be very unique to you as a student. You complete that survey. You basically just say, this is, any kind of credits I'm bringing in. These are the classes that I've taken. I've taken this many foreign languages, that kind of stuff. They use that to build your first semester schedule. So you don't have to do any of that over the summer until later on this summer when you get here for Welcome Week, and you can arrange any kind of schedule adjustment. So if you really don't like what you've got, what they gave you, or if you have any questions or concerns about it, they'll take care of that during Welcome Week and during a dedicated time. So you won't have to sign up for anything. It's going to be built into your Welcome Week schedule. I will say that I won't be able to answer many questions about class registration or placement assessments or anything like that. But on our website, you can go to course enrollment at the top, or academics, I think. Click on course enrollment, and then you'll see all the different contacts for your school or college as in terms of advising. So if you have any advising questions between now and when you get the survey, or even after that survey, you can go there and find their information. Okay, so new student move-in. Probably going to have a lot of questions about this tonight, so I'll do my best to answer them as best I can before the Q&A later. But international students can begin moving in August 15th, and they'll have their move-in and orientation during that weekend, August 15th through 17th. It is very important that only international students are moving in during this time, because our student living staff, our student staff that work in student living are still getting the building set up. They're still doing some last minute training things over that weekend, and they're also resting before the big move-in day on that Monday, the 18th. So please make sure that you're adhering to the move-in date and time that you're sent later on this summer. So if you're signing up, if you're registering for a pre-welcome program, that doesn't move in on August 15th, so any of those programs that's not the wild program, you will be moving in between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Monday, August 18th. Regardless of where you're from, where you're coming from, that will be your pre-welcome move-in date and time. And that will be reflected in your email that you get from housing later on this summer. Now, if you are from the United States or any U.S. territories, your move-in dates are going to be August 18th through the 20th. So I'll break that down. So after pre-welcome moves in on August 18th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., that's when we begin moving in everybody else. So if you're from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Massachusetts, you will start being assigned move-in times for August 18th from 2 to 5, or at some point during the day on August 19th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've broken that down because that's based on how many students tend to come to Syracuse University from those states, but also how they're dispersed across campus. We are kind of an urban campus, so the traffic patterns are a little, we have to finesse them a little bit. So to make sure that we aren't causing any kind of traffic jams for the city of Syracuse, the law school will be starting their classes that week. So there's other things going on during our move-in time. But I will say, if you ask any staff member that's ever helped with move-in, we've got it down to a science. So just trust the process. My recommendation for those of you who aren't like, when am I supposed to come? When am I supposed to go ahead and plan for coming if I'm from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Massachusetts? If you can only stay one night, I recommend making plans to get here on the 18th and staying overnight on the 19th until the 19th. That way you can either move in on the 18th, and if you need to stay a night, or you can do that night, or come in the night before and move in the next day. You're more than welcome to stay all week or whatever your situation allows, but that is our recommendation. I will say that if you want to just go ahead and make your plan, regardless of what your move-in date and time is, anybody can move in on any of these days after 5 p.m. So if you're from Massachusetts and you want to just go ahead and make your plan to come on Monday, you're not going to sign up for a pre-welcome program, go ahead and come on Monday. And you can move in after 5 p.m. At your own pace. We'll have the move-in bins ready for you, and you won't be turned away. So for all other states and territories, you'll be moving in on August 20th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So now these move-in dates and times, the firm move-in date and time will be sent to your email in July. So after a couple of weeks of that, after a couple of weeks later, sorry, we will share an opportunity for you to request a move-in date and time change. Whether maybe you're a twin and you have a sibling that's moving into a different university somewhere else, or maybe family can't take off more than one day, and this is the day that you have to be able to move in. We'll provide information about what that form looks like and when you should fill out that form. But I will say we did this process last year like this, and very few people filled out that form last year, but just because the dates and times worked for them. So you can feel free to give us a call if you have any questions about this. I know you probably are already thinking about some questions right now, but you feel free to ask in the chat or in the Q&A, and or you can give us a call tomorrow. Okay. So welcome week. So now that you've moved in, beginning the day that you move in, we have things planned for you, for students and for families as well. So again, welcome week, that is the required new student orientation program for this year, for every single student. During welcome week, you'll have several optional programs and events to attend, but also some required stuff you have to attend as well. So the biggest thing is academic advising. You'll meet with your advisor, adjust your schedule if necessary. ask any of those kind of important questions like, hey, I'm thinking about changing my major, in the future, how does that look like? What does that look like for me this semester or next semester? They'll answer all those questions for you during that academic advising meeting. You'll also have plenty of opportunities to connect with university staff. From the moment you set foot on campus, during move-in, we have faculty and staff help out with move-in, so you'll see a lot of familiar faces that you've probably interacted with over the course of your admissions process during your move-in time. We also have open houses across campus. New student convocation. That's one of our signature events, which we'll get into in a second. But that is the first required event for all new students outside of the floor meeting in your residence hall. All new students are required to go to new student convocation in the Dome. Families are also invited to attend new student convocation. It's also live streamed and recorded. So if families can't make it or can't stay until Thursday morning, you can live stream it or watch a recording of it later. We also will have some socials for family members and supporters. It's looking like we'll have some socials on Monday night and Wednesday night of move-in, leading up to convocation. More information will be shared from Parent Family Services later, but this will be an opportunity for you to connect with alumni engagement with Parent Family Services, other offices on campus, and to let your students do their thing while you just kind of take a break. Okay, so Ben, talk about some of our signature events.
Definitely. All right, now to the fun part. This is always my favorite time of year. Most of our events throughout Welcome Week are run by students like myself, and they're designed specifically for new students. Excuse me. So very exciting time where you get to meet a ton of people. I had an amazing Welcome Week, and that's the experience we hope to provide all of you when you arrive here in August. So starting off on Monday the 18th, our Residence Hall socials. Most dorms have hundreds of new students living in them. So that's a great time to meet people in your dorm, see friendly faces in the dining hall, and get to know your RA as well. Then moving on to Tuesday the 19th is the ice cream social. That night was one of my favorite nights when I was a new student. We'll have ice cream for people of all different dietary restrictions, and also music, and we'll all be there as Welcome Week leaders as well. Now to one of my favorite events, the Slice is Right. There's a photo of it on the previous slide, but the Slice is Right is a student-run game show for first-year students. So all of the Welcome Week leaders will put on a game show similar to The Price is Right that involves the entire audience through various different games and challenges, and you even have the opportunity to win prizes. Slice is Right is so much fun and will be in the Dome. So definitely be on the lookout for that on August 20th. That's the final day people are moving in. So by August 20th, we will have everybody there in the first year class. Then we move into new student convocation. That's more of a formal event in the Dome with the chancellor speaks, and we have academic processions as well. That then moves into open houses, and then at night, Orange Blast. So similar to Move In, when you can learn about different clubs and organizations on campus, Orange Blast is very similar. We'll have tons of organizations tabling. You'll get the chance to meet these organizations, see how you could get involved on campus. We'll also have student performances, and that'll be on the quad. Throughout the rest of the week, we have community meetups. So you might be meeting with a community based on an identity or an interest, but those will all be communicated further closer to Welcome Week. And then we also have Welcome Week FET. Welcome Week FET is an event that we started just a few years ago, and that's typically done on the quad, but it's a celebration that we have at the end of Welcome Week that celebrates BIPOC students throughout their transition, and it's designed for all students. On the 23rd, we then head downtown. There's a ton of food trucks set up and different vendors throughout the city of Syracuse that participate in Citrus in the City. We'll have music, we'll have the marching band, and we'll have food throughout Syracuse that you'll get to try for free. That is one of my favorite events of all time. and then straight into Dome Suite Dome. You may have seen a photo of the dome with a giant block S made out of students, and that's when we take that photo. You may also get to hear from some special guests as well. So Welcome Week, it's a busy week, but it's full of a ton of fun and connection with new students and with existing students through organizations that you might meet or Welcome Week leaders that you are going to interact with.
Yeah, there might be some questions about some of the earlier days. So say you're from California, and you're not moving until August 20th. What about the ice cream social and the residence hall socials on Monday and Tuesday? Will they miss that? So none of these events, the only event that on this screen here that is required for students is new student convocation. If you are, maybe you decide that you're going to come to campus or come to Syracuse a day or two early, and you want to just pop in before the day or two early before your move-in date, and you want to come to these socials, by all means, come to the socials. Nobody's going to be turned away for that from any of these socials from participating in that. I will some notes about these later events. So the community meetups, we're going to be hosting several different types of community meetups. We're going to be hosting some regional ones. So we're going to have a Southeast, Northeast, West Coast, covering the entire United States, international and territories, for folks in those regions to meet up, for students in those regions to meet up. We'll also have a couple like, women in STEM and things like that that might be of interest to anybody that wants to participate in those meetups. They're going to be very unstructured. They're going to be led by Welcome Week leaders. We're really excited about this new opportunity. Welcome Week Vet is, like Ben was saying, this is another involvement fair opportunity. Some of our Greek organizations will be there, and then some student organizations, professional fraternities, things like that, will also be in attendance. We'll have some performances from some of our Greek organizations and dance troops. We'll have a big catered meal. Again, this is for students only. It's turned into a tradition at Syracuse University where basically the entire first year and transfer class of all new students come out for this event. It's a lot of fun. And then on that second day, Citrus in the City, we'll have some more community meetups. It'll be the same community meetups each time. So while you're doing advising, maybe in the morning on that Friday, you can still go to one that afternoon if your schedule allows, or maybe Saturday morning. Citrus in the City is a fan favorite, only because we get to introduce the city of Syracuse to all of our students and local vendors, and the food is just really good and it's free. We bus you down there, we give you a ton of free food, and then we take you straight to the dome after that. Okay, moving on. Ben, you want to talk about the involvement fair? This is the third involvement fair in like 3 weeks of you getting to campus. So, but this is the campus-wide one.
Definitely. So there's hundreds of organizations on campus that you can get involved with. Firstly, you might learn about them and hear about them while you're moving in through Goon Squad. You might see them tabling at Orange Blast or maybe at FET. But the involvement fair will happen during the first few weeks of class. And that's when you see every single organization out there on the quad tabling. There's everything from the sailing club to the bee club. Myself, I'm involved in Syracuse University Ambulance. So there's just so many different things you can get involved with and talk to those members that are tabling out on the quad. Some of them require applications. Some of them you may just be able to join. But it's really up to you what you want to join and how many clubs you're interested in. So throughout that day, you might meet other students, you'll collect some swag from different organizations. And I would say that joining clubs, joining organizations has been the best way I've been able to find community and I've been able to find friends here at Syracuse.
This is one of those days where I recommend you only carrying the bare minimum with you in your backpack to class that day. Only because you're likely going to walk away with a bunch of flyers, with a bunch of swag that different organizations will be giving out. So come prepared to just collect. And I think another good rule of thumb for all new students who are not really sure where their place is going to be yet is their first semester, sign up for everything. sign up for everything and go to that first meeting. See if you click with that organization. That's why we have all these different events at FET and at Orange Blast. We have all these different student performances, so you can see all the different aspects of student life before class starts and before all the upper division students get here, because upper division students will also come to the involvement fair. If you sign up for everything your first year, you didn't really find your place, you can still go back your second year. You can go back your second semester. We have an involvement fair during the second semester for you to continue to try to find your place on campus. Your interests will evolve, and there's likely a student organization for that. If there is no student organization, you're like, I really want to start something, it's not here. Student engagement will work with you to start your own student organization. It is very, very easy to do that. You just have to go through several steps to get that done. Okay, so let's talk about some other events that happened during your first semester, but also during the year. So Orange After Dark, that's our after hours, our late night programming opportunities for students that's run by students. Happens every single week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or maybe Friday, Saturday, depending on the week. Most of them are on campus, some of them are off campus. So there's always something to do every single weekend if you want to take advantage of that. There's also concerts. Syracuse University and University Union, who's our student programming board, they do a great job at bringing some pretty good names to campus for all of our big concerts. I know for Block Party in a couple of weeks, it's Role Model and who else, Ben? Lado?
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. We've had a lot of really popular names. So, and these concerts are at a very steep discount for students. Not for me as a staff member or the general public, but for students it is very, very cheap. So Juice Jam happens in the fall semester. We also have a lot of student-run events, both in the residence hall, on campus. Student organizations will host events for all of campus to attend. Career Week is one of the first big weeks on campus, September 21st to the 25th. This is for any student. So even though you're a brand new student, you might be a first year student, it's not too early to start thinking about what's happening after college. And Career Week, more information and links and everything will be shared this summer. And then I'll get to this slide in a second, but that's also the same leading up to Family Weekend, which begins on at the end of that week. There's also different lectures and panels that happen almost daily on campus, both in person and virtual. I went to one today. It's open. They're typically open to the campus community. I went to one today about tax season and tariffs and all that kind of stuff. And it's really a really fun, engaging way to learn more, even if you're not associated with those majors. You can still learn outside of your classes. The Barnes Center at the Arts Recreation does a lot of day trips, especially over the weekend. Every weekend, and it doesn't stop during the winter time either. They go snowshoeing and snow tubing and skiing and all that kind of stuff during the winter. Apple picking, horseback riding, hiking, swimming, all that kind of stuff during the warmer months as well. And there's also cultural events. The Intercultural Collective hosts different events every single week, whether there's just standing events or maybe they're different types of monthly celebrations. So there's something for everybody at all times at Syracuse University. There's never really an excuse to say there's nothing for me to do here. So this is for everybody to just kind of put on your calendars. Family Weekend is September 26th to the 28th. Tickets for Family Weekend events have not gone on sale yet, but football tickets for Family Weekend are on sale, I think, as of yesterday. So you can go to Parent Family Services website and you can see, look at find out how to buy the football tickets if you are planning to come back to campus in September for Family Weekend. You can go ahead and purchase your tickets now. Okay, so that was a lot of information. I am sure there are some questions. I'm going to leave this this slide up for just a second while we start fielding some questions. Then I can take it down. But I want to make sure everybody has our information. Our Instagram will also be pretty active this summer, both from the student perspective, but also from our office, sharing some important updates about Welcome Week and Move In and all those things.
Alrighty, thanks, Butch. Thanks, Benning. Yes, we certainly do have quite a few questions in the chat ready to go for you. The first one I have is, what's the dress code for convocation?
Casual, comfortable, casual. I will say, in the dome, it can get pretty chilly, even in the summertime. So you might want to have like a light jacket. But we're gonna go after convocation is done. Everybody goes to the field, and we do a brunch picnic. So you just kind of go through a line, get some food. You can either sit in the stands, you can mingle on the field, or you can go outside if you're feeling a little chilly. But the temperature is going to be hot outside, cold inside.
Absolutely. A couple questions. So, speaking of the socials and the different things that you have planned before everyone might be moved in, um, is anyone from any state allowed to move in post 5 o'clock, or would it only be the states that are on that specific day?
Great question. Anybody from any state can move in after 5 o'clock on any of those 3 days. So if
Amazing.
you're again, if you're from California and you want to move in on that Monday, and maybe you try to do the move-in change form, maybe they said we don't really have the space. Go ahead and come on Monday. You'll just have to move in after 5.
Alrighty. Um, do students move in earlier than the 20th if they are living in an LLC?
Yes, we're working out those details now. But we on the 20th, there's going to be some LLC specific events, and we'll make sure that if you are, if you've registered live in an LLC, you will get specific information via email about when your move-in date and time will be, and what those events are going to be on the 20th.
Awesome. Um, Back to the different events, if you could go over again which are the required signature events for the students, um, the academic advising day, those types of things.
Yeah, so the only things that are required for students is almost everything from schools and colleges. And just to be clear, when we post the Welcome Week schedule, we have a whole web page that has the different types of schedules. So family and supporter schedule. You click that link, and it'll give all the events that families and supporters can attend. Then we'll have like the full Welcome Week schedule, and that's kind of overwhelming. It's over 170, 180 events that happen just during that weekend. Um, but we break it down by school and college as well. So if you're in Newhouse, you can just click the Newhouse link. You'll see all the signature events that you're required to go to. So convocation, the optional events like Slices Right and Citrus in the City and things like that, but also all the advising sessions and all the school college specific sessions. We also note which ones are required, which ones are not. The first required session or event for every new student is going to be that floor meeting on Wednesday afternoon. We don't know what time it's going to be yet, but it'll be after move-in is over and done with. And then convocation the next morning on that Thursday.
Awesome. Thanks. Related to the parents, I know you mentioned that there'll be a list of events that parents can be involved in. Is there anything in particular you would recommend a parent maybe hang out for or make sure to try to make?
Yeah, I think convocation is probably the biggest one. And if you're here on that Wednesday, there's gonna be where I think that's gonna be like the firm family social that we've got planned. I know she's trying to decide if she's gonna do one on Monday or Tuesday, but there's gonna be a family social on Wednesday night. Definitely, if you can, stay for convocation. So when you think about commencement and graduation, is that formal academic ceremony at the end of a student's college career. Convocation is the same thing, but at the beginning. So it is really a milestone event for all of our new students. And it's definitely one of those that's like, okay, my student is a college student now. It's one of those types of events. So I highly recommend staying for that if you can.
Amazing. And what do you usually recommend for parents to for students to arrive by, leave by, particularly when regards to parents.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
They were just curious in regards to parents, when do you recommend they should leave campus by?
Oh, we encourage families to make their way home by Thursday at 5 p.m. So convocation is that morning. We'll have the brunch during the midday, and then campus will have open houses that afternoon that anybody can attend. So some schools and colleges will have their dean's welcome events that families will be invited to. We are still working out the details for arts and sciences in Maxwell, since that is the largest school. They tend to have to utilize the dome for that, so they may be here until Friday morning. We're still working on those details, and that'll be announced in short order. But our office and the university at large will not be having anything planned for families after 5 p.m. on Thursday.
Great. Some other of the pre-welcome programs. Students had a question about how many students participate in the WILD program that you mentioned.
It's very few. It is if that's something that you're interested in, go read about it first, then register quickly. It's my understanding, I think it's maybe 10. It is extremely small, just because it's an outdoor intensive program that is designed for students that have a lot of experience being out in the elements with and there's obviously staff that are there that support this program, but it is you are not living in a cabin. We'll just say that.
Amazing. Students that might be involved in marching band, they get to move in early. Will they move in directly into their dorm, or will they live somewhere else in the interim?
Great question. They will move. It is my understanding, it depends on what part of marching band they're in. So it's my understanding that some of the auxiliary and drumline percussion come a bit earlier, whereas everybody else kind of comes a little later. So it really depends on what instrument or what element of marching band you're a part of. As far as what day you come in. But I will say, it's my understanding that they typically do move in to their fall housing assignment, not into a temporary space.
All right. And then one other question regarding Parents Weekend and the football game. I believe this is from a student. They were curious if they should plan to buy their ticket with their parents, or should students plan to attend via their own student athletic ticket pass?
And why don't you answer that question?
I would say if you're able to get a season ticket to the games, get that season ticket to the game. I know some of my roommates got a 4-year season ticket pass to the games. So as students with your SUID, you're able to show up to pretty much any game without having to pay, except for basketball and football. But students are provided with season passes if they would like. I definitely recommend, if you are able to purchase one of those, definitely do it. I didn't purchase one this year, and I was able to, buy tickets off friends, share them between friends. So it does work out, but you definitely want to be in that student section. This past year, I told my parents, "Oh, I'll see you after the game," and stayed in the student section, because it is so much fun when you're down there right next to the field with all the other students.
That's great. I think that it really depends. Football is starting to be a bigger thing here at Syracuse. There's a lot of energy around our football team, and it's only growing. And I think that the more that we improve in that area, the more hype the student section is going to be. And I don't think you're going to want to miss that, even for one game. But by all means, if you are like, I really just want to spend this weekend with my family, they'll get tickets, 3 tickets together, or 4 tickets, however many. You can go ahead and do that, and no one's going to fault you for it. But I think that you might get a little bit of FOMO if you're out of the student section, or vice versa. It's up to you.
Another question, will students have to move out completely between semesters?
Great question. So no, students. Well, I mean, you'll have to leave. but you do not move out. So you keep your things there, uh, and you'll move back in the weekend before class starts. So you can move in anytime between that Friday afternoon and Sunday before class starts in January.
Great. For students that might be interested in joining our honors program, some of you in the audience might have applied and been waiting to hear about that. Do honors students get an earlier move-in date?
No. Well, yes, actually. They will be moving in on the first day, August 18th. We've got there's gonna be a social for honor students that evening. They're still working out what those plans are gonna be. And that's regardless of what state you're coming from. Now what will take priority over that is if you're gonna be part of a pre-welcome program. So if you're part of pre-welcome program, you'll get an even earlier move-in time on that Monday, and you will need to go to that pre-welcome program. But if you're not doing a pre-welcome program and you just are part of honors, you'll be given a move-in date of that Monday. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can still request to move it to change your move-in date. It's not that social that evening is not required. They're just trying something different this year. So August 18th is the move-in date unless something else comes up for you.
Again, with move-in dates and our pre-welcome programs, student particularly mentioned Fresh Fest, but I think, for any of them, do you still do the same orientation dates you mentioned, or do some of the activities happen earlier?
Okay, that's a great question. So if you're part of a pre-welcome program, your program is wrapped up by the 20th. It might have some hangover into the 20th, which is that last day of move-in. And then after that, orientation welcome week really begins for all of campus. So you would kind of focus everything on your pre-welcome program. You would still come to those events that evening. They marked out some time in their pre-welcome program so you can attend those events that we put on during the evening on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But it just kind of flows nicely into welcome week and all the required stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question from our parents and families. Where should they stay when they are moving students in and maybe, staying a couple extra days?
That is the question of the century, I think, for all of us. So there are some hotels in Syracuse, but the surrounding area is pretty close by if you have access to a vehicle. So Liverpool, Camillus, Fayetteville, there's a lot of hotels in those areas. And there's obviously Airbnbs and all that kind of stuff. Do that at your own risk, in best judgment. Um, Carly, do y'all have any recommendations as far as like admissions events that y'all do?
Yeah, I think so. We have the Skylar Hotel that is owned by the university and on our campus, about maybe a 5-10 minute walk from campus. So that's a good option. But I actually do, now that you have these dates and you might have an idea of when you move in, I do recommend getting hotels sooner than later, because particularly as Butch mentioned, downtown, limited in the hotel space we have. And so if you want to be within walking distance, or very, very short drive from campus, I would recommend definitely looking into it sooner than later. And one of the last questions I think we'll have for you tonight, is our parents recommended to sit in on the academic advising student meetings with the students. Particularly, this parent I think was thinking their student might be thinking of adding a second major. So, what would you recommend?
So, families are not allowed to participate in any of those conversations. And that's really all to do with FERPA and making sure that, at this point, students are making the decisions for themselves and they have to advocate for themselves and what that looks like for them, and make those best judgments and calls on their own. That's why these conversations should be happening now at home to talk about what that looks like. Obviously, the schools and colleges can answer general questions to families. If you were to give them a call tomorrow, they'll answer some of those questions for you, but they cannot talk about your student to you without your student present or even without express permission. So the advising sessions really happen on that Friday. That's why we encourage families to leave on Thursday. Because at that point, the student needs to start making those decisions on their own. Same thing for the summer. If you attend our the optional new student orientation during the summer, there is going to be opportunities for the families to sit in uh, with the schools and colleges by themselves, and they get kind of like an information session from the schools and colleges and how they can support families supporting their students on the academic side, and then the students will meet separately with the schools and colleges during that session too. Same thing happens during Welcome Week. We do keep it separate. The schools and colleges will also do some open houses during Welcome Week so that families can attend and drop in and ask any questions that they may have in that regard. But any kind of schedule changes or like major decisions like that, or adding a second major, is really done with a student and their advisor together.
Awesome, thank you. Well, we have answered every single question that was sent
Oh,
to us tonight. So I do want to thank Butch and Benning for being wonderful resources for us. Also, my colleagues Kate and Stephanie in the background that have been answering all of your wonderful, wonderful questions. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And I do want to remind students we have a ton of other virtual sessions. So if you liked this one, want to learn about a few other things happening on campus, please feel free to check out that schedule and sign up for anything that sparks your interest. But again, I just want to say congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and go Orange.